morning students. So today we will continue the chapter the living organism and their surroundings, right? So do you have any problem related to the part which I have discussed in my previous class? Any problem? No problem, ma'am. Okay, thank you. So today I will continue with the different types of habitat. So you can remember what is habitat? What is habitat? Habitat is the place where an organism live, grow and reproduce, flourish. Okay, that means that particular place is called as habitat, or the surroundings where the organism live is called as habitat, right? So, and for living, any organism needs food, water, air, shelter, and which they will get from their habitat. Clear? And this habitat, actually you can call it this is the home, okay, or dwelling place. Like that you can describe that habitat also. So we know what is habitat. Today you have to know the different types of habitat. Okay, so habitats usually two types. It is usually two types. What are they? First one is terrestrial habitat and second one is aquatic habitat. Okay, so what is the meaning of terrestrial habitat? That means organism, particularly those plants and animals that live on the land. Those who are living on the land are considered as terrestrial habitat. Okay. So, what will be the definition of terrestrial habitat? That I am writing here, the organisms, within bracket we will write plants and animals that live, grow and propagate on land. Okay, so here the main criteria is on land. Okay, so the organism, that means that particular plants and animals, those who are living on the land will be considered as terrestrial organism. Okay, and the habitat, that particular habitat is considered as terrestrial habitat. So here you have got two terms, that is terrestrial organism and terrestrial habitat. So I am repeating that part, that the organism that live, grow and propagate. Propagate means increasing their number. Okay, on land these are called terrestrial organism, and these land they are called terrestrial organism, and their habitat is called as terrestrial habitat. Clear? Now what will be the example of terrestrial habitat or the terrestrial organism? As we know that human, mango plant, tiger, those are terrestrial organism because those are living on the land. Okay, so these will be some example of terrestrial organism. Now next part is aquatic habitat. Aquatic means you know that is it is related to water. So the organisms which are living and growing in water, these are called as aquatic organism, and their habitat is called as aquatic habitat. So I am writing the definition here, that the organism sir, camera. Okay, wait. Okay, now you can see the board properly. The organism, plants and animals that live and breed in water are called as aquatic organism. Okay, I am repeating that the organism that live and breathe, that means their reproduction will take place inside the water and their number will be increased. So those organisms which are living and they also breathe in the water, these are called as aquatic organisms. Okay, and this particular habitat is called as aquatic habitat. Clear? So what will be the example of different aquatic organism? Like fish, some aquatic plants, you know there are different type of fish, dolphin, whale, shark. Okay, these are the different examples of aquatic organism. So these two are main division of main divisions of habitat, and beside that another one is there, that is arboreal habitat. That means those organisms, those which are living on trees, okay, they will be considered as arboreal habitat. That means they are using these trees for different kind of their activities. So what will be the example? Very easy, all birds will come under this type of habitat. So these two are main two types of habitat, and beside this another we have discussed, that is arboreal habitat. Okay, so these are the different type of habitats. Now next I will discuss about the different components of environment or different components of habitat. Mainly two components are there. So two components of habitat are so these are biotic and abiotic, right? So two main components of a habitat is biotic and abiotic. As you know that biotic component means the living components of a habitat, and the abiotic component means the non-living components of a habitat. So in a habitat we will get different kinds of living and different types of non-living components, and the living components will be considered under the biotic habitat. Okay, so the living things such as plants and animals in a habitat is considered as biotic components. So what will be the examples? Plants, animals. Okay, and if we consider the abiotic component, then what will be the example of some non-living components of environment or our surroundings? There will be air, rock, sunlight, water. So these are the different abiotic or non-living components of a habitat. Okay, so now if I tell you that write down the differences between biotic and abiotic components, then you can write it very easily. Okay, so here we have got some factors like air, water, sunlight. So these abiotic components are very useful for survival of the plants and animals, okay, which are biotic component. How? Just imagine a situation that if you take some seeds, okay, like moong dal or something else, if you take some seeds, then after that you have to keep it inside the water for one night. Okay, so after that the seed will soak water, and next what you have to do, that you have to separate these seeds into some parts. Okay, then you have to keep one part under sunlight, you have to keep one part in the refrigerator where you will be able to provide a cold weather, and one you have to keep in the dark, that means you can keep it in the cupboard, and one you can keep it rinsed in water. So these are the different situations, or these are the different conditions you can provide to these seeds. Okay, why? Because by this you will be able to understand that what are the different roles of these biotic components or biotic factors. Okay, sorry, abiotic components or abiotic factors. Like, just imagine that, as you know, that when the seeds will germinate, the new seedlings will come out. Okay, and from that a new plant will be there. So for germination some factors are required. What are these factors? These factors are mainly air, water, sunlight, all are required for germination of seeds. Now if you collect some dry mung seeds in a small beaker and then you are keeping it in the water for a day, and after that whenever you are dividing the seeds into these ways, like one you have to keep it like that. You are keeping it inside the water. Okay, one in the sun, under the sun, one in the dark room, and another in the cold room, or you can keep it in the refrigerator. So after few days, what you will notice? Do the seeds in all the 5 parts germinate equally? What will be the answer? No. Why? Why? Can you tell me the reason why? Tell me the reason why. Why you are saying no? Ma'am, because the plant can't get sunlight. Okay, that is in one case. Seed in sun will germinate faster. Okay. And but if you don't provide the water, then what will happen? Because in dark room the seed will not germinate, it is not getting soil and sunlight. Okay, because it will not get sunlight and water, it will get only water. Yes, because all these, in all this situation we have provided only one thing, that is in some seeds we have provided only water, in some we have provided only sunlight, in some we didn't provide the light also. Okay, so that from this we can understand that for germination some biotic factors are required. What are these? These are sunlight, that means air, water and soil. These are some abiotic components. Okay, by these we can conclude that abiotic components are very important for living. Okay, now we will discuss about another important term, that is acclimatization. First I will write the definition of this one. Okay, these plants need air, water, sunlight. Yes, very good. So first I am writing the definition of acclimatization. Small changes that take place in the body of a single organism body of a single organism. So here you can see that some changes that can take place in the body of single organism over short periods. These are the important terms. Okay, over short periods to overcome small problems due to changes in the surroundings. Due to why? Due to changes in the surroundings are called acclimatization. Just imagine the situation that when a person want to visit some places like mountain area. Okay, so in the mountain regions the person may feel difficulty in breathing. Okay, whenever the person will reach the mountain they may feel difficulty, but after some days their body will adjust to changed conditions on the high mountain. After few days the person will not face any problem. Just imagine, first when a person moves to the mountain area, some person face some difficulties in breathing. Okay, because the environment, climate is different. Okay, in the mountain region, that's why in the high altitude they may face some breathing problem, but after some days their body adjust to the changed condition on the high mountain. Okay, and this criteria is considered as acclimatization. Ma'am, bad noises are coming. Maybe it's your problem. Now can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me properly? Okay. So I am repeating the definition that small changes that takes place in the body of a single organism over short periods to overcome small problems due to changes in the surroundings are called acclimatization. And after that, first you have to write down the definition, and after that you have to write down the example which I have discussed. Okay, you can write it down the example like that. When a person moves to the mountain region, first the person may face some breathing problems, but after some days body will adjust to that condition and the problem will be solved. Okay, that is the main example of acclimatization. Clear everyone? Okay, so in my next class I will start from the different terrestrial habitat and some other habitats. I will discuss these habitats. Okay, but for today I will ask you some questions from my previous class. Can you tell me what is the meaning of saline water? What is the meaning of saline? Tell me. Ma'am, it is help us to survive the camel. Listen the question carefully. Water, saline water. Yes, that means salty water. Now next question, tell me one property that a camel have to survive in the desert. Last question, tell me the answer. Write it in full sentence. Write it in full sentence. It stores fat in its arm, yes. So that what will happen? Yes, ocean water is saline water. Tell me a criteria of camel by which they can survive in the desert. When they don't get water, then fats absorb moisture. Okay. Anything else? Except this point, anything else? Okay, okay. So there are many other points also. Okay, so read that part. That different type of habitat and acclimatization. I will ask question in my next class. Okay, so thank you everyone and bye bye.